I'm excited to be here. Look, about 3 years ago, I was surrounded by these blocks. They were about a foot long and they were about 6 inches deep, and they were painted white and stacked on top of each other. And they made this big kind of rectangle that was about 12 foot by 10 foot. Now, many of you guys might call this a dorm room. Now, my business started in this dorm room, and what happened was I ended up dropping out of my architecture major and my business finance degree, launched this company, pre-sold $70,000 worth of a product via randomly searching online for people, finding their phone number, and then just, my first objective was to get them on the line longer than 10 seconds, then it was longer than 30 seconds, and I'm going to go through a lot of those scripts that I used literally in my boxer shorts, from my dorm room, under my bunk bed, and how it started. That company has now grown we're now up to 25 full-time folks, our first year in business. So right out of the gate, we did $407,000 in annual revenue. The second year that grew to over $1.1 million. And then we raised a bunch of capital from very smart people that said, Nathan, shut the hell up and don't tell anyone your revenue numbers. So I'm going to shut the hell up and not tell anyone our revenue numbers. But it's exciting. And what I'm going to focus on specifically is a little bit about my story again and how that worked. I'll tell you about the one thing that you guys can sell over and over to local customers that you're onboarding, and that's because Heyo sells to small businesses. Heyo is the company, and we sell directly to small businesses. And so this one thing we've seen agencies that are using us sell over and over again. So I'll tell you what the one thing is. Second, we've streamlined our process to bringing on new small business clients to just under spending about an hour a day. And we've got this hour blocked and tackled down to the second. During my presentation, I'll actually show you what we do in that hour, complete with the tools we use to make everything go faster, ranging from a little plugin you can put into Gmail and Outlook that allows you to schedule sends in the future, to track opens on one-to-one emails, and to track click-throughs on one-to-one emails, little tools and tactics like that. So I'll break down that hour. Then the third thing I'm going to focus on is we're going to go over 3 P&Ls, or profit and loss statements, from agencies and consultants that are using Heyo that are doing at least $10,000 a month. We'll break down what they're charging per this one thing they're selling, how many times they're selling it, and how many repeat customers they're getting, along with the costs in their P&L, so you can get a sense of where you could be, again, a year or 2 years after coming to the presentation. The fourth thing, Jeff, I'm going to focus on are the 6 steps, okay, to building a scalable business to free up your time. A lot like Josh's story, where he started and then hired and then grew to a monthly recurring revenue model. Same thing happened on our end, and we just, our first round of funding, we raised $550,000 for some of the top investors in the world, and that money what was actually is unnecessary, but it helped fuel our ability to scale, and which that freed up a significant portion of my time. So I'll walk through not necessarily how to raise capital, but those 6 steps to build a real scalable business that has value outside of just you and your time. There's 2 last things, Jeff, that I'm going to focus on at the summit. The first is I'm going to actually open up my Gmail inbox and bring up some of the first emails that we sent out, the cold emails that we used to start Heyo, so that you can copy that text over and over again. This copy works every time. It's a cold email, and you'll see why it works, again, during my presentation. I think it will surprise you. And lastly, guys, at Local Summit on October 2nd and 4th in Phoenix, I'm going to focus on 3 words that I used to land $2 million in additional funding about 3 months ago from a Forbes billionaire. We continued growing the business. There's a significant amount of upside opportunity that we're building towards. We're only thinking big, and again, I'll walk you through why that worked. And it's much more an exercise in a pitch than about how to raise capital, because ultimately when you're raising capital, that's the ultimate customer, it's your ultimate sales pitch. So Jeff, I'll be focusing on those 6 things at Local Summit in Phoenix on October 2nd and 4th.